You've got some NFL props. We do have one game
Indeed.
tonight. It was a
Yes.
tough one to get a grasp on. Hold on, why is this being weird? There we go. It was a tough game to get a grasp on. I really couldn't find that many props for it. Vikings are going to also have their running back, Aaron Jones. They just tweeted this out that he's officially activated off the injured reserve,
Yeah.
expected to play tonight against the Chargers. That does help this Vikings team total over 20.5.
Yeah, I like this quite a bit. I think there's a couple different ways that you can back the Vikings tonight. If you want to take them outright on the money line, if you want to play it a little bit safer, you can take them to cover the spread. I think the safest way is take them to go over their team total. The Chargers have not been good, especially on the defensive side of the football. Last 3 games, they are dead last in the NFL in yards per play allowed. They've allowed at least 27 points to both the Dolphins, Commanders, and the Colts, who scored 38 points against them in just 3 quarters of football there last week. They've been especially bad against the pass. I think that's something the Vikings can exploit. I know everyone makes fun of Carson Wentz. He's had 2 300-plus yard games in his last 3. Good chemistry with Justin Jefferson. Specific to Wentz, he's made 4 starts. They've gone over this number, 20.5 in all 4 of those starts. So, yeah, I like the Vikings to go over that number.
It's been hard for me because I've been kind of high on the Chargers all season. I had them last week. It's tough to go back to the well when you lose the week before, and I lost last week on LA.
They might not be very good. People don't like, I don't know if they get a pass, but people really like Harbaugh. People really like Herbert. People make a lot of excuses for him. I know the offensive line, but that's part of football, right? And their offensive line's been decimated by injuries. Now the defense isn't playing very good. The Vikings, it's kind of a really weird start to their season because you have J.J. McCarthy in. He's supposed to be the guy all season. He gets taken out. Then they go to Europe for 2 straight weeks, and then they're on their bye. So maybe a good spot to find some stability here, too.
Going into this weekend, Jets-Bengals. This game is absolutely messy. I can't believe the Bengals are laying 6.5. I know the Jets
I
stink.
know, right?
I know they're winless. 6.5 just feels like a hefty number to lay. So I like that you're turning to a total here of over 43.5. Why?
Yeah, I like a lot of totals, a lot of overs this weekend. So sky high scoring in Cincinnati. This has been a theme of their home games. 9 of the last 10 games for them have gone over. And they're not just kind of going over, they're flying over. Those 10 games have had an average combined score of 61.8 points. This season, all 3 of their home games have seen at least 58 combined points. Now, I'll know we like what we saw from Flacco and the Bengals last week on Thursday Night Football. Some of these offensive coordinators overthink it. They came out with a game plan, throw it to Jamar Chase 15 times. It worked pretty good, right? And I think they're going to be able to find success against the Jets. They have a lot of trouble pressuring the quarterback. Now, the big problem with this bet is, can the Jets hold up their end of the bargain and do a little bit of scoring, right? Because they've been very flat the past couple games, but the 3 previous games to those ones, they've averaged 23.3 points. They had a 32-point game earlier in the season. And this is the worst defense that they're going to face right up until this point of the season. Cincinnati bottom 2 in the NFL and yards per play allowed, third down defense, red zone defense. They cannot pressure the quarterback. So, yeah, I like the over 43.5 for that one.
And you don't care which quarterback it is?
The
Jets.
I don't think it really matters very much. I mean, they're a disaster. I'm a Dolphins fan.
Oh,
And what I think, Ariel, is at least I'm not a Jets fan. That's what I think. That's what kind of makes me feel a little bit better about being a Dolphins fan, which sucks. I don't know why I picked them, a guy up here in Canada, right? But at least I'm not a Jets fan.
Well, you picked
and
it
I like
because
that.
the weather's enticing.
I like that the Dolphins are losing, though, because the Dolphins are always a team that's stuck in the middle. And when you're stuck in the middle, you're either.
But guess what? You guys are good enough to edge out the Jets for the first pick in the draft because you know the Jets are going to be so bad that they find a way to ruin getting the first pick in the draft.
Yeah, and if you're going to be bad, you might as well be really bad because the Dolphins are always stuck in the middle and they're either, right outside the playoffs. And when you're right outside the playoffs, you're usually also outside the top 10 in the NFL draft. So things need to get bad for things to get better in Miami. And if they're really bad, they're going to pull the plug on everything, which is desperately needed. So
I know I was kind of shocked that the rumors came out last week that McDaniel wasn't going to get fired. At least last week.
I think they're doing him a major disservice by keeping him. If you see these press conferences, it's like a humiliation ritual whenever he needs to step up in front of a microphone. So I think they'd be doing him a favor if they let him go, right? It's
How
time.
much do you think that McDaniels could be fired midseason?
Oh, it's got to happen. They should have done it after the Browns game, because after this game, they have Thursday night football in Baltimore. And Lamar's probably going to be back, right? So you can't fire him on a short week when you only have 4 days to prepare for a game. Then after that, they go up to Buffalo. So he'll probably get fired after the Ravens game, is what I would say. Had they had an earlier bye, it might have happened, but it's just
it'll happen when I'm on the beach in Aruba and all
nice.
of a sudden my phone blows up. I leave on Halloween, so this always happens. One year, Derrick Henry tore his ACL when I think that was the year, it was Henry, I think, that Derrick Henry tore his ACL a few years ago, sitting on the beach, and all of a sudden, the biggest news always happens when I'm trying to enjoy my vacation. That's how these things work. You have another game, too, on the slate. Bills team total over 27.5. This is obviously a doozy of a game against the Panthers. They're 7.5-point favorites at the moment. How come team total over?
I think it's been a weird couple of weeks for Buffalo, right? And I think people are forgetting that they are still an elite team, especially on the offensive side of the ball, right? They came out the first 4 weeks of the season, first 4 games, and dropped 30 points or more in all those games. And they lose 2 straight, then go into their bye. And I think this is a game that sets up incredibly nicely for Josh Allen, facing a Panthers defense dead last in pressure percentage. They only have 5 sacks this season, the Panthers defense. Now, their defensive numbers are average, to be fair, but look at a lot of the competition they face. Tua, Penix, Kyler Murray, Trevor Lawrence. And here's a pattern from the Bills after their bye last season. They went off on offense. There are 3 games after the bye last season, 35, 42, 48 points. I think we could see a similar pattern start to unfold here in Carolina.
Oof, okay. I mean, listen, I like the Bills, but I don't trust the Panthers. But the Bills have struggled against the run. So my concern for covering that game was more that Chuba Hubbard, who played last week for the first time since missing a couple of weeks for injury, he could run the football. And I always hate laying big spreads with bad run defenses up against someone that could run the football.
Yeah, I mean, 45.5, I think, is a full game total for that. And that was my original instinct for the game, but we don't have a clear picture who's starting at quarterback yet for the Panthers. Now, I don't know if Andy Dalton's much of a downgrade from Bryce Young, to be fair, but
people think Andy Dalton's an upgrade.
He could be. I mean, if he goes out there and plays smart, I think they have a pretty good head coach when it comes to offensive game planning. So, yeah, I think, Carolina's going to find their points at home, too. So I don't mind that bet at all.